Okay, movie lovers, let's talk about some movies. Movies that I watched this week. It's all it is the movies Bob watched this week. No big deal. Here it goes. Are you ready? You got a seat? You got your tea? Anyway, I watched a movie on TCM. It's called, I guess it's called Cherry, Cherry, 1988. Stars Melanie Griffith and some guy by the name of David Andrews. I don't know who the hell that is. But it has to do about this guy, right? He's got a robot, an android, whatever you call it. It's a girl, of course. She has a chip inside her, right? So when he gets home, she's there, right? She's all ready for him for supper and everything else. And they start kissing and hugging in the kitchen. The dish soap, in the sink overflows, gets all over the floor, and they're rolling around on the floor, and she has a short circuit, gets all blown to shit, right? So anyway, she gets thrown in the garbage, right? He wants to go find her. So it's way out in the middle of the desert. He has a chip, and he wants to put the chip back in her to make her come back to life. Yeah, and so to make a long story short, he hires Melanie Griffith, right, to take him out to the desert to find this android. And I don't know how to explain this, but I didn't like it. You ever talk about cheesy movies and movies that are so bad they're good? Well, this one's so bad it's not good. I haven't talked all day to anybody, so you get a little choky. But yeah, so Cherry, I don't know, 1988 TCM. It's one of those sci-fi movies. It's not, I didn't like it. I don't know how to explain to it. Anybody else seen this Cherry movie? Starring Melanie Griffith and this guy by the name of David Andrews. I give it a 3. That's it. I never watched that one again. Oh yeah, okay, so next one, I watched Judy, 2019. The movie about Judy Garland when she goes over to England. She runs out of things to do in the States. She gets a gig over there in England. Of course, she meets another guy, and he says he's going to do all this shit for her and everything to fall in love, so they say. And it's all based on a true story. So, she wants to make lots of money so she can get her kids back, because Sid has the kids. Anyway, it never turns out so well. The story-wise, it's very good. It's a very good story. It's a lovely movie. I really liked it. I gave it an 8 out of 10, right? So I don't know. It's a lovely story. I liked it. One of the better ones I've seen this year so far. Judy, yeah. What's her name? Renee Zellweger. And that's how you pronounce it. I liked it. I thought it was well done. Yeah, and she does sing some good songs in it. She does get drunk. She does take pills. Whatever. But, yeah, it's all based on her life. That, one of the last things she did when she was alive. And people who live in England, they really did treat her well, most of them. And some of them didn't treat her well at all. So, but anyway, Judy, 8 out of 10. What else? Oh yeah, I watched Arnie Schwarzenegger, The Running Man from 1987. Yeah, he's in a helicopter to begin, right? It's a sci-fi movie. It's based 2017 or something like, 2019, which is last year. 2019. Yeah, this movie was made in 1987. So it's about a running man. He gets thrown into a game. By now they have a game, a big top-notch game that's on TV and everybody watches it. Of course, it's all set up for everything, right? In the beginning, he's in a helicopter with some other guys, and there's some people looking for food, and they're kind of like, what is it? They're demanding food and all that. So they get the bright idea, right, that you know, to what is it, make him the bad guy, right? So Arnie's the bad guy, although, you know, in reality, you know that he's not, right? But they set him up that way. So he gets to go play the game, right, with a couple of his other people that he knows, his friends or whatever, right? They get thrown in the game with them. And he's running all through the game and stuff. And it's not a bad movie at all. I don't remember seeing this one at the show. I'd probably seen it a long time ago. So I just watched it like this week. So this one, what did I give The Running Man? Oh, I gave it a 7. So The Running Man gets a 7. It's a very well done story. Nothing wrong with it at all. Fun. Oh, lots of action in it, Ian. Lots of action in The Running Man. All right, what else did I watch? Got an itchy nose. I watched Parasite. I watched Parasite. Best picture. Yeah, this is the best picture of the year. So, I gave it an 8. Starts out, the beginning of the movie starts off, this young guy is going to go tutor this young girl in this rich family's house. So he can't make it. He wants to go on holidays. He wants to do something else. So he meets a friend of his to have a tea or sake or whatever they're drinking. And he changes places. He says, but he's not a student. He doesn't have any papers or anything. Of course, you know, it's quite easy to, you know, forge papers, right? Say who you are, all that kind of stuff. Something like they do here in Canada years ago, right? For Bell Canada. When you want to get a job for Bell Canada, you just forge your papers, right? And they just follow them on top and give you a job. They don't look into anything. Now, that was 25 years ago. I don't know if they do that anymore. So, yeah, Parasite. So what does he do? He gets a job, right? He's tutoring this young girl in this fancy dancy house, right? Family. And this family of 4, there's mom and dad, right, and the daughter, and this young guy that gets this job. They live in a basement apartment, right? So they're talking about this the family, the rich family, I should say, have a 7, 8-year-old kid. He's a little, what is it? I don't know. I wouldn't say slow or anything. But anyway, he needs help, so they hire this guy's sister, right? Which they don't know. The rich people don't know it's his sister. So she gets in there, right? And she's teaching this young kid art, explaining everything to him about art or stuff like that. So that's fine, right? Now they get the bright idea, maybe they should get their dad in there, right? But they already got a driver, right? So they set the driver up, right, to get fired, and they get their dad in there, right? Now the rich people already have nanny or a cook or an aunt or whatever you call her, right? How do you get rid of her? You got to get rid of her, right, to get the mom in there. So they get rid of the aunt, right? Now the mom's in there. Now the whole freaking family's in there, right? And then the little boy walks around and goes, they all smell the same, basically. That's what he's saying, right? You know, the smell from them are all the same smell, right? So anyway, you know, the rich people decide to go away on a camping trip, right? So they get ready to go away. They're all gone away. Now these 4 people, family, mom and dad and the boy and the girl, the kids young, they're in there, they're drinking, they're eating food, they're having a great time, right? Everything's rosy and dandy and everything. And then, ding dong, ding dong. Who's that? Someone's at the door. And then it goes on from there. I know you're going to have to watch the movie to see what happens. 8 out of 10 best picture this year. Parasite. Oh, okay, so TCM, I watched Born to be Blue 2015. I think that's what it is. Watched it on Crave TV. I recorded it a while ago, and I finally got around to watch it. And that stars Ethan Hawke and Carmen, what's her name? I can't even read my own writing. Carmen Rizzogo. Anyway, it's a story about Chet Baker, the trumpet player, right? Of course, he gets his face all smashed in. His teeth are all gone and everything, right? Because he borrowed money off the bad guys, and he didn't pay it back, so they smashed the living shit out of him, right? And before that, he used to always play getting high, right? You get the needle in the arm and stuff, right? So then he gets clean and everything. He has to have a job. He works, you know, doing odd jobs and stuff. And then he ends up getting back into the club and all that stuff. Now, the thing, this is based on a true story. So the story is very good, right? I mean, whatever's going on, this really did, most of it anyway, did happen. So it's a very good story. I gave that one a 7 out of 10. Jasmine Chet Baker must relearn his craft in the late 60s after his teeth were all knocked out. So, Born to Be Blue, 2015, a 7 out of 10. It's a very well done story. If you like the blues, everybody likes, well, most people like the blues. Chet Baker. All right, what else did I watch? Oh, Terminator Dark Fate. Terminator Dark Fate. Arnie Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton, right? So, here it is, frig man. I don't want to feel old. 20 years later, give or take, a while. The thing, all right, so they get this bright idea, right? Somebody's coming back. You see the guy dropping out of, first there's a girl that drops out of nowhere, right? So she's there. It sounds all familiar, right? And then there's another guy, a Terminator guy, comes out, right? Now this Terminator guy is running around to kill this Spanish girl. I think she's Spanish. And the girl that dropped out first, right's there to save her. Sounds familiar? I think it does. For some particular reason, this story has to do with Linda Hamilton and her son, right? You know, Edward Furlong, right? So back then, the Terminator, Arnie, back then, kills John, right? So he saves the world, everything's saved, everything done, there's none of that stuff. But now, later on, there's this other Terminator, right? The world is full of machines, right? So they thought they saved the world, but it still went on as far as I understand. So there's this Terminator that's coming back to kill that Spanish girl, right? Because why? Why are they coming back to kill the Spanish girl, right? So, I mean, basically it's the same idea. It's just, she rises up and says, you know, piss on this, we're not going to let these machines run the world, so let's get together, people, and shoot all these bastards. So she does, right? And they start machine gunning all the friggin' robots running around or whatever. I guess for 20 odd years, Sarah Connor's been running around being mad, getting all upset, and you know, she walks around with a gun in her back, you know, down her back, and she's a rough son of a bitch, a woman for a woman. And Arnie, the Terminator guy, he's living up north in the country. He's hanging drapes. He's living with a lady that has a boy. He met him when he was he was probably 2. He's probably 18 or 20 by now, or in the movie. So yeah, Arnie's hanging drapes. He's up north, living in a cottage. He's having a great life. Yeah, and they show up at his place. Hey man, we need help, right? So off he goes, right? He gets all, you know, all his toys, machine guns, bazookas, and everything else you can imagine. They're off to kill this Terminator guy. Am I spoiling anything for you? Am I explaining it right? I don't friggin' know. Anyway, I think I saw all this before, 20 years ago. I think the best Terminator movies were the first 2, 1 and 2. If I can remember that long ago. So yeah, Sarah Connor's been roaming around with a chip on her shoulder, being tough, for 20 years. She's got nobody to kill, shoot, yell, or scream at. And Arnie's living the life of harmony, fishing, watching sports, and drinking beer. All right, what did I give that? I gave it a 7. 7, it gets a 7 just because. It was a pretty good movie. Lots of special effects, things getting blown up, and all that kind of stuff. All right, now for the Terminator. What else? Oh, I also watched the Rat Pack from 1998, starring Ray Liotta as Frank Sinatra and Joe Mantegna as Dean Martin. I'll butcher everybody's name. It's about the 1950s to the 1960s. You know, they're all there singing and dancing, and the Ocean's 11. They made that movie and stuff like that, and made other movies that bombed. And all they do is get drunk and party and make fun of what's his name. Oh my God, I can't remember. But Sammy Davis Jr. Yeah, that's what they used to do. Probably more than likely. They were always picking on Sammy Davis Jr. and one black joke or another one or some kind. But anyway, Crave TV, yeah, or Bravo or something like that. I gave it a 7. It was all right. And President Kennedy was supposed to he really was supposed to go stay at Frank Sinatra's place. But his brother Bobby nitched Dot, right? So he went and stayed at Bing Crosby's place. So Frank got pissed off, yeah, and all that stuff. So anyway, it's a pretty good story. Most of it, and history-wise, it really did happen about, you know, a lot of the things in the movie. So I thought it was all right. Give it a 7, like I said, the Rat Pack. And I also watched the movie on TCM that I recorded before to watch, you know, later kind of stuff. A Lost Lady, 1934, Barbara Stanwyck and Frank Morgan. Frank Morgan, remember Frank Morgan? He was in The Wizard of Oz. He also made other movies in and around and after The Wizard of Oz. So, yeah, starts off, Barbara Stanwyck and this guy, they're throwing a party because I think they're engaged or something, they're going to get married, right? So they say, oh, well, we're not going to hang around here. Let's go do something. Let's run away from the party. So they go down a flight of stairs. They're both, you know, lighting up a cigarette at the stair on the bottom of the stairs, and this guy walks up and says to the guy she's going out with, the guy that she's engaged to her, something along the line with, "You got the money you owe me?" And he mumbled, and the guy shot him right dead, right there in his step. Boom, he's dead. He's gone, falls downstairs. So Barbara Stanwyck's not doing so well. She's hanging around the house moping. She's crying. She's doing all this stuff. So her mother or her dad or whatever gets the bride to send her up to the cottage for a while. So she's at the cottage. She's still running around, mumbling and falling all over the place. She falls over a short 20-foot cliff. I wouldn't really call it a cliff, but she fell down there. Frank Morgan comes along and helps her. And he comes by and sees her every day and all that stuff. And then he says he loves her, but she doesn't love him. But they're compatible and they move in together. He buys her all kinds of stuff, makes a big house for her, does everything for her, and she falls in love with somebody else. And then Frank Morgan's character has a heart attack, right? He ends up in the hospital, and she comes back to him and she says, "I'm sorry," and blah, blah, blah. And do they end up, Frank Morgan's character and Barbara Stanwyck, do they end up with each other at the end of the movie? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spoil it. I'm going to tell you, yes, they do, for some reason. The other guy, she said, "No, I can't marry you, I can't love you. He was so nice to me, I love him." Or did she say she loved him? I don't know. It's movies from 1934. They used to knock these things off in 3 or 4 weeks. I gave this movie a 6, just because it's kind of believable, but then, I don't know, on the other side of life, I don't think so. I don't know why. Why am I like that when I watch movies? I'm thinking to myself, I don't think so. But anyway, Barbara Stanwyck, she's worth a 6 anyway. So, not a bad movie, but 6 out of 10. All right, that's the movies I watched this week. Did I get everything? Yeah, I think I did. So, it's just a video telling us what I watched this week. No big deal. I'm just saying what I score. I score movies out of 10. And like I always say, I keep saying over and over again, a 6 or a 7 is a movie you can watch. It's like, no, you know what I mean? Like, it's a good movie, you can watch it. Then you get up to an 8 and you go, oh, that's pretty good. Then once in a while you get a 9 and you go, oh yeah, that's a really, 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 really good movie. Once in a blue moon you get a 10, which doesn't happen very often. So most movies you can watch are 6 and 7s, and then you get into an 8 that's a little bit better than a 7. But most of you already know that. So that's it for this week. I'll be back next Friday with the movies I watched this week. Alright, you movie lovers, keep watching those movies. You know who you are. What, no questions?